A Tale of Blood and Cross. When paganism and Christianity collided. Once upon a time, long before hashtags and holy hashtags, the forests of Europe echoed with drums and war cries instead of church bells. These lands were alive with the old gods, Odin, Thor, Freya, gods of thunder, harvest, death, and rebirth. Paganism was not just a religion, it was life. Every tree had a spirit, every stone a secret. Blood sacrifices were offered to the gods for rain and victory. Warriors believed that to die with an axe in hand meant a seat at Odin's table in Valhalla. But across the sea and through the Roman roads came whispers of a new faith, a single God who died nailed to a cross and rose again. Christianity, a faith that promised eternal life without the need for spilling blood on the fields. At first, the two worlds glared at each other like wolves over a carcass. The Christians saw pagans as savage idolaters. The pagans saw Christians as weaklings who worshipped a God who refused to fight. The clashes began, armies marched. Crosses were carried into battle like swords. On the other side, pagan war bands painted their bodies in runes, performing Seder, sorcery, and calling on Thor to guide their axes. Kings fell to blood eagles, an execution so brutal it was said to please Odin himself. Ribs cracked open, lungs pulled out to flap like wings, a grotesque offering that turned many Christian missionaries' stomachs. In France, Charlemagne's armies forced Saxons to convert at sword point. In the north, Viking raiders burned monasteries but also began to see the value in the Christian gods' promises of unity and kingship. The merged centuries of blood later, something unexpected happened. The lines blurred. Pagan chieftains realized that adopting Christianity gave them power. Alliances with Christian kingdoms, trade, literacy. Meanwhile, Christians understood they needed to absorb local customs to survive. The result, a fusion. Christmas trees, pagan Yule traditions. Easter eggs, spring fertility rites. Even the halo in Christian art looked suspiciously like the sun discs worshipped by sun cults. In Scandinavia, they still wore Thor's hammer around their necks, hidden under the cross. In Ireland, old sacred wells dedicated to Brigid became holy wells dedicated to Saint Brigid. The axes, though once soaked in blood, now hung over hearths as symbols of protection instead of weapons of war. By the time the last Viking king fell to his knees before the cross, both worlds had bled into each other so deeply you couldn't tell where one began and the other ended. And so, from screams on battlefields to chants in candle-lit churches, the old gods and the new God merged into the strange, mystical hybrid that still shapes the West today. The key similarities they shared, and why they merged so powerfully. Belief in life after death. Sacred ritual meals, communion versus sacrificial feasts. Symbolism of rebirth and sacrifice. Strong communal gatherings and seasonal festivals. Two worlds, one of thunder and one of the cross, collided with the force of 1,000 axes. And what remained was a new world, half bathed in blood, half lit by candlelight.